Good grief! Writing the instructions for this car is turning out to be a much bigger job than I thought. I've been working full time on it for weeks now, and there's still a way to go. Of course, I have been building a new car at the same time, with so many small improvements. I have to show you one or two of them. For instance, this is the new barrel steering setup, and it's quite good. Originally, I had a piece of wood turned on a lathe for the cables to wrap around, but not everyone has a lathe, of course, so I had to change that for the plans. And this is the alternative. It's a connector for 4-inch sewer pipe, which is neat, and I guess anyone can go and get one at their local builders suppliers. It doesn't have to be a used one, it could be a nice new one. By the way, I'm not drawing an electrical schematic plan. What do you think? Should I do that? Will people expect one? It's fairly straightforward, you know, all the wiring, but I can put one in if you think it's needed. With a lot of careful drawing and measuring, I realised I could simplify the steering arms and combine them with the track rod connections if I used these things. Do you know what they're called? Well, I couldn't remember, so I couldn't look them up. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to find them, so I described them as best as I could to ChatGPT. Like magic, it gave me the name Clevis. Clevis and Tang. It sounds like a detective agency, doesn't it? Something like that. But really, it's just a type of coupling. Anyway, I was glad and quite impressed to get the name, because then I was able to order some. And all along, I've been ordering all sorts of different things, types and sizes of everything, to see which one would work best. And most things come from Germany these days, and of course Christmas held things up, so it hasn't been straightforward or speedy. I did have to cut a small bird's mouth out of each of the clevises, to allow more travel of the tang, but that should allow the car to turn more sharply and so have a tighter turning circle. So that'll be very interesting to find out. So far so good, but it turned out that the big plastic connector barrel was just a little too narrow, and I couldn't get enough travel out of it before the cable fouled on the rim. It's only a centimetre narrower than my wooden one, but seemingly that's all it takes. So I went and looked at the next size up, which is too big, and thought about making the barrel longer, which would have worked, but that would mean turning the steering wheel round further, so not ideal. And then I cut down a length of pipe and widened it out, and that would have worked also, but then the bearing at the front would need to be lowered to accommodate it, and that would have levered up the shaft and changed the angle of the steering wheel, and that might have meant that the brake lever cables would touch the windscreen when you turn a corner, which is no good. So after 2 days of messing around with different versions, I moved the little pulley wheels from the outside to the inside, and that sorted things out. Except, of course, it also reversed to the steering. Oh man. So anyway, but if you put the wires round the other way, it's okay. I do quite like them on the outside, and lots of people ask about them, but the new way is neater. So now the plastic connector does the job because it's at a better angle to the wire cable, and there's plenty of movement. I know I'll be asked about this, so I'll just remind you the wooden steering boxes allow for kingpin inclination and castering, and it's all set up with Ackermann geometry. Some will say I need camber too, but I've been driving around quite a lot in the blue car, the previous version, and honestly the steering is fine. So I guess a camber just isn't necessary. I've done nearly 200 miles in the blue car now. Not all in one go, you understand. Little bits, but it's already added up to that much. And the only issues with the steering so far have been because things weren't tight enough. Which is a bit scary because it's a bit wobbly at times. But I'm confident that this new version will be better. And the whole point of designing it like this is so other people will be able to build the same thing with just simple woodworking tools, although they will need a hacksaw for the birds' mouths. Right then, on with the rest of it. Today I think we found the basic design finally for the roof. Surely one day all the plans will be finished and I can think about other things, but for now I just have to keep focused and get them done. No time for other projects, which is a bit sad but true. I just hope a few people will want to buy the plans and make their own car. At this rate they'll be about the size of a book. Mostly because I don't want anyone making something that isn't safe. So, talk soon. Bye.